Rachel, guess what?
Oh my God, what?
Today is the day. Today is the day. Spirit 360 opens up. You guys, we are so excited. One of the things that we hear the most from our audience is that you love the content, you love the topics, you love the conversation, but you want to get more involved and you want to connect with other people just like you. So that is why Spirit Outspoken created our first community called Spirit 360.
And you guys, look, we get it. We have done deconstruction and we understand that this can be a very lonely process. And we don't want you to have to go through that alone. We found that our friendship throughout this time has been instrumental in allowing us to go deeper and really explore faith in brand new, tangible, authentic ways. And we want you to feel that same level of support from other people.
Yes. And if you love the energy that we bring to the podcast, it's just on steroids at Spirit 360. It's going to be fun. It's going to be deep. And really, what we're hoping to do is to take these meaningful conversations that we're having and turn it into really practical spirituality, things that you can incorporate in your day to day to help you grow and deepen your walk. And we are going to walk right beside you hand in hand while we do this together. Okay.
So, you guys, the link is live. So, if you're listening to this on the podcast, you can check out the link in our show notes. Otherwise, visit us on Instagram and TikTok and make sure to click link in bio.
See you there.
Part 2 with Ainslie MacLeod is where things get personal. In this continued conversation with past life psychic and author of The Instruction, The Old Soul's Guidebook, and Conscious Healing, we dive deeper into the evolution of the soul and what it actually means to grow spiritually across lifetimes. This episode explores the distinct perspectives of young souls and old souls, how their values shape the world differently, and why that tension matters right now. Ainslie also shares insight into Jaisa and my soul ages. Yes, we went there, and discusses what he sees as a rising wave of women incarnating at this time. Souls who are here to help usher in a new era of spiritually grounded, heart-centered leadership. If you've ever wondered where you fit in the bigger spiritual picture, this conversation might shift how you see yourself and the world. And with that, let's dive in.
Like I say, you're both spiritualists. One thing, actually, both of you in different ways are doing this. You have a leader influence that's very strong, Rachel, and one of the reasons you've chosen this is that you want to be an empowered woman in this life. And the interesting thing about that is that you're going to want to empower others. It's a karmic aspect of who you are that is often a big difference between, to use Confucius's cliche, it's the difference between giving people fish and teaching them to fish. The leader in you will want to teach people to fish, give them techniques, ways that they can do it for themselves. You also have a little bit more of an academic, slightly more academic approach to things compared to Jaisa. I think Jaisa would, just a slight difference, and it's not to say either of you are not one thing or the other. I mean, you're both, complex creatures, but Jaisa a little bit more coming from an emotional place, where Rachel, you coming a little from a more cerebral place, probably arriving at exactly the same analysis
So
or
true.
whatever,
Yes, it's
but just
so
doing
true.
it
Yeah.
slightly differently.
So
Rachel,
true.
you're more likely to be the note taker of the two of you.
Yes,
In fact-
obnoxiously so.
In fact, I'm really
Obnoxiously so.
surprised you're not making loads of notes as we're speaking.
Well, I do have my pen
Ah,
here,
you do.
Ainslie, in case I need to.
I have lip
And
gloss.
I have notes that I which Jason's like, you and your damn notes.
No, but it's
sometimes."
so true.
Yeah, it's just the way you are composed. All of these things. I mean, I work with this, day in, day out. So it's just, if you said, "Oh no, I don't make notes," I would have been. Well, I'd take early retirement. I'd be so shocked, because it's the way it shows up. It's having a thinker educator influence in your soul types. It's usually as well your soul age. It's associated with degrees, masters, PhDs. That usually the more academic path. Did you go to college?
Mhm.
Yeah. Did you get more than one degree or?
Oh my gosh, I've gotten trained in other things. I mean, my husband's like, I don't know, what is Rachel going to be today? Is she a health coach? Is she a podcaster?
It's
I
like
mean, what course is she doing today? I don't know.
Classes, workshops, seminars, training, podcasts.
Sign me up. I will do it all. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so true.
It is
You both
true.
have a great deal of sensitivity, both very, very intuitive. I mean, of course, Rachel, with a very thinkerly part of you, you probably second guess your intuition.
All the
Um,
time.
Now, here's an interesting thing because I'd have to really work with you. I'd have to probably spend a good bit of time figuring exactly how this works. But very, very broadly speaking, when it comes to like a decision or working together, would Jason, would you tend to defer to Rachel? How would it be? Do you think? I mean, I'm thinking about Rachel as the leader, and you have the hunter in you. Usually, the hunter is the loyal lieutenant to the general who's the leader.
I
It,
trust Rachel's gut and decisions.
Mhm.
Like, I would say I push sometimes a little
Yes,
more,
that's
like,
exactly. But you
you
push
know?
exactly. Yeah,
But if
that's exactly
Rachel
what's
is
going.
like, "I think we should do this," I
Mhm,
100% I'm like, "Yes."
mhm.
There's a groundedness in her
Yeah,
that I really trust her to lead us. And, like,
yeah.
and it's weird because more aggressive or male energy sometimes can be conflated with leadership, right? But I
Mhm.
almost feel like, um, I'm sure, Rachel, you're totally perplexed in me saying this, but, like, seriously, if Rachel was like, "I really think that we should do this in a different way," I I'm like, "Yes,
Yeah. I think
lead
you would be the
us."
one. You would come with all the suggestions and all this. Like I was thinking about this, and this is how
Yep,
what I
yep,
think we should do. But ultimately, looking for
absolutely.
well, you're looking for consensus, but also that part of like what's the leader
The
really feel
clarity,
about
like,
this? Yeah,
this is the
yeah.
how, right?
Mhm.
Like, I will bring her 30 things to be like, "Okay, I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking about that, I'm thinking about this." And Rachel's very practically able to, "Okay, what if we did this, then this?" And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, yes." You know what
That's
I
actually
mean?
That
one of
is
the
Like,
things.
true. That
That's
is
a
kinda
great
how
thing
we work. Yeah.
about having a leader in you is that your decision making, well, especially the whole picture that I got there, is that you have the ability to cut through things. You see the big picture and the detail in one, and you probably forget that a lot of people don't have that at all. So you can
Yeah.
take all that information in, at the end of a nanosecond, you go, "No, we need to do it this way." You could cut right through to the chase, or that's how it should be.
Yeah.
Of course, learning to have the confidence to, really,
Yeah. Trust
you
it
know,
and go
trust
with
it
it.
and
Yes.
express it. That's a different matter, but it's all
Yeah.
part of it. You'll get to that as
Yeah.
well. Um, it's coming.
Absolutely.
You'll eventually come into your own with it, like
Yeah.
more confidence about using that leader part of you. Both of you with the leader and hunter in your soul types. This comes from past lives where you've literally been a leader, you've literally been a hunter. And I mentioned this before, but you both have a physicality about you. What do you do for exercise?
Rachel's way more committed to it. I do strength training, which is the only thing that I really enjoy, but I need peer pressure and people that I can crack jokes with there for me to enjoy it.
Jaisa's an awesome workout partner because she slows the whole thing down, and I love it. Like, she'll just
Well,
But I was an
that's the
athlete.
performer.
Yes, for sure.
Jaisa was on track to be an Olympic figure skater.
Yeah, it was a very
Wow.
big part of my life.
So,
Wow.
she is an athlete.
And I
Yeah.
was a performer, a literal performer.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that makes sense. Yes. Because as a performer and a hunter, yeah, get it. It's like, you've got the spotlight on you and,
Literal spotlights.
yeah,
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 Yeah.
wonderful. I'll tell you one interesting thing about the leader, and I've been asking a lot of people, a lot of clients in the last 6 months about this because I'm starting to wonder if every single leader that I work with, even if it's a secondary influence or which I think I can't remember if it's primary or secondary with you, but because you learn to be a leader through outdoorsy kind of physical activities in the past, you might be leading an army, leading a
Mhm.
hunt or whatever. Um, Leaders I talk to tend to love hiking. It's this combination of being in nature and being physical. Is
oh
that
my
something you
god.
enjoy doing?
Well, I
Rachel?
don't have hills to hike. I do
Oh,
love
that's
hiking,
okay.
but I walk my dog every day, and I have said it is like a spiritual experience for me. That when I'm outside walking in nature, I feel the most connected.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
need to have that experience.
yeah.
Um,
God, that's
yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's all in there. I mean, I could keep talking about this for ages. I mean, you 2 are fascinating because you really are this great combination of, the kind of softness and strength. Years
Yeah.
ago, I was working with somebody in my spirit guides who have a sense of humor, described this person as being like a commercial for toilet paper, where they extol the virtues of being very, very soft and very strong at the same time.
And
Um,
also highly efficient and useful.
We're Charmin.
All
so
great
I
qualities.
Oh my god, that's
Yeah.
so good. It's so good. Ainsley, I gotta tell you, this is such a gift because sometimes I think Rachel and I are like, God, what are we here for and what are we doing and how do we get here in like a really magical way. And I
Mhm.
think that sometimes like we look at each other and we're like, we so casually we're like, let's start a podcast. And it was Rachel's husband's idea. And we both were like, oh, that sounds like fun. And it started, and like now to see where we are and to feel it's like hard for me not to get emotional because like I did not know that this type of joy and fulfillment could exist. I
Mhm.
really didn't. And it was like, you kind of convince yourself for, I'm going to be 42. And I have a question because you kind of woke up in your 40s and I feel like we did too. And I wonder if there's
Yeah.
something magical about stepping into your soul's purpose at that time. But I look back and only 3 or 4 years ago, and I almost don't recognize myself.
Yeah.
I almost don't recognize myself. And it's like you convince yourself that these superficial things are what life is about, like the titles and the money and the this and the self importance. And if I just do this and I accomplish this, then I'll feel fulfilled. And you just kind of keep going on to the next thing, next thing, next thing. And you don't really get there until you don't know that that's what you're doing until you actually step into something with fulfillment.
Yeah.
And it is honestly a gift to work with Rachel every day. I mean, we talk about that often. It is home.
Mhm.
It's like we found each other again
Yeah.
and we knew it. We like before you even saying that, and it's so meaningful because you are telling us what our souls know and we remember. And it's
Mhm.
just crazy how this works that we're spitting in this little rock in the middle of nowhere and we made this promise like, hey, we're going to come back and we're going to do it this
Yeah.
time. And to see how life plays out, right? It's like this is what it's about. Like if you can somehow, read the instruction and step into your soul's guidance and what you're doing, like I think this is the fulfillment that awaits for people.
Well, it really is. Like and it's so interesting what you say about being in your early 40s. So I've said for years that my typical client is a woman, age 40. She's been in the corporate world, and now she's kind of last few years she's been going, this is really not speaking to me. And the guy that she married, just straight out of college, it's kind of not really working the same. So I've said this for years that my clients in the main fall into a narrow band between 37 and 43.
Mm,
And and almost everybody's a spiritualist. So, of course, the person most likely to talk to me, and every spiritualist is looking for, or at least old soul spiritualists are looking for meaning. And so, this is where people change very often. It's the soul starts to push through in the mid 30s.
mm-hmm.
That
It
makes
starts
sense.
knocking at the door,
Yeah.
kinda going, "Okay, I gotta be me, I gotta be heard." It's for most of us, it can take a little bit longer. I'm noticing a lot of, younger women particularly these days that are coming to me they're having their spiritual awakening a little bit earlier, and I think part of it is because there's stuff like what you guys do. There's more information out there than there was before. For
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
people, it's like, well, I've got a spiritual hankering. Even though how many don't have the words to express it, but there wasn't a lot. Certainly wasn't as much information out there 20 years ago
Yeah.
than compared to now. So Yeah, you get that point sort of roundabout, I mean, very typical for me to hear from somebody around 42 that they feel like they're a different person to who they were at 41 or even 6 months ago. They it's like a spiritual trajectory and you're growing,
Yes.
really, really quickly.
Yeah.
And, of course, the work that you're doing is gonna expose you to that, I mean, you're not just feeding other people and, it's so much about you. You both of you are here to learn and grow. And the one thing both your souls have in common is you don't want to flatline. You don't want to get bored. You don't want to feel like you're doing the same thing. You need the work that you do to keep you stimulated. It's got to be different every time, basically. If you're doing the same thing, it will your soul will kind of atrophy. It will get to a point where
So
it says,
true.
I just
Feel
don't want
that.
to do it anymore. And that's why I
Yes.
get people, kind of changing jobs, like such a big thing around 40, like, what are they really meant to be doing? And for a lot of old souls, that means finding something where people benefit or something that feels more personally meaningful to you.
Yeah.
If an old soul spiritualist gets to 40 and they're working for a company where it's just about the bottom line, it's just about money,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter how they might be in HR and doing a lot of good work or whatever, but it doesn't matter because if the organization or the institution itself is just about making money, it's not going to fulfill that kind of soul. So, you and I think a lot of people who come to you would, drawn to this sort of thing are they're looking for purpose, they're looking for meaning, and they're looking for a greater depth within them.
One thing you
So
touched
true.
on when you were talking there is a lot of younger women in particular. And I was going through your Instagram page and I saw where you were doing an interview talking about a lot of old souls coming back right now and choosing to reincarnate as women.
Yeah.
Can you touch on that? Like I was
Mm.
very curious by that. Obviously, probably the feminist in me wants to know more about that.
Yeah.
But
You
tell
are
us
their
what
leader, Rachel.
yeah, God,
Yeah.
don't put that pressure on me.
So, yeah, yeah. The way my spirit guides describe it is the future is female, and they mean really that what's being pushed for is like there's more and more old souls coming in as women. 95% easily of my clientele's made up of women. I mean,
Wow.
get a few guys, but almost everybody they're all women.
Yeah.
And what's been very interesting to me is in the last 14 months, just over a year, um, I've I'm seeing a combination, like in your soul types, Rachel, particularly with the spiritualist, with this leader, and also this thinker educator, and some variations in between. I've been seeing a lot of that, a lot of strong women coming to me, and that this last year has been quite extraordinary. I, a combination that I wouldn't have seen very often before. Suddenly, I'm seeing it practically every day.
Hmm.
And, you're, uh, well, I should say you're both similar. I mean, I can go through later if you want to show you exactly how you put together. But, um, it's this thing about strong women being drawn to this work right now. Part of it is a rescue mission. Older souls coming in to make a difference. I mean, the world is screwed up. It is absolutely, as I said earlier, it was never meant to be this way. We've got all these amazing resources, beautiful planet. We've screwed the whole place, um, and this handful of people have a huge proportion of the wealth, and so many people are struggling on $1 a day, and it was never meant to be that way. And we need to get rid of that greed and a lot of the masculine energy that is kind of got us in this mess. And so a lot of strong women are coming in and looking for ways to really make a difference, and that's the intention as we go forward. A lot more female leaders.
I was reading something recently that women are not the more submissive of the genders, which is
Mhm.
really surprising. Like I read that and I was like, what do you mean by that? Right? Because like I've always been told that women should be submissive, and I am not. But like but that's the insinuation.
Yep.
And it was like hierarchies are completely built, and the patriarchy is completely built on the majority of men taking directions and following in line. And a hierarchy is like there's one leader, and then there's a couple leaders, and then more leaders, and then leaders and leaders. And it's all this trickle down. But there's only one person that's not taking direction. Everybody else is taking direction on somebody else's orders. And female societies don't really behave that way. We see that even
Mhm.
in nature,
Yeah.
right? Like that's not
Mm,
our instinct. And when we are looking at more like, hey, how do we go into a more collaborative community type environment? I tend to agree. Like,
Mhm.
females will really need to be a central part of whatever this new way of being is, right? And
Absolutely. And
new
it well,
souls don't
yeah, I
like
mean,
it.
and you hit on that's the thing, yeah, the young souls don't like it. They don't understand it. They're afraid of it. I
mhm.
mean, they want to maintain the status quo. They want everything just to be, like just how they know it. And that's, they don't like the fact that, older souls want to continually push for change and improvement and so on. It's like that's uncomfortable for them.
Yes.
They don't
Yeah.
understand it. They don't get it. But what would be the ideal thing is where we have much more feminine energy coming into our institutions, a great deal more compassion, caring, and so on, um, and get away from this, male created hierarchy, which it's
Mhm.
the hierarchical system. It's something more like cooperatives and that sort of thing. Um,
Yes. So
it's
needed.
if you
Yeah.
if you actually go to the soul's journey and how the soul grows, very first thing that the soul learns when it comes into its first couple of lifetimes is about working together. It's about cooperation. So it's supposed to get that lesson under its belt. It will continue to come back over many lifetimes and sort of re-experience that and work on it and develop it. But it's very important that we learn that by working together we can create so much more. There's then other lessons in equality and so on. There's different lessons that the soul goes through at different stages. But unfortunately, we really, I think it was sort of urbanization, really changed everything. And, as I mentioned earlier, there's a big difference between religion and churches. And a lot of churches were, created by men and not by the spiritualists who are the ones who should be running them,
Mhm.
but by ones who are maybe just, motivated by greed and so on. A lot of
Yeah.
social control.
Mhm.
And, and again, it's not meant to be that way. It's like losing the sort of
Right.
the purpose.
We have a lot of strong urges as human beings to do something in this lifetime, right?
Yeah.
How much of that is like we have to make it happen versus trusting that this is something I personally struggle with, right? Like what you were saying, this like high sense of immortality. I've never had the words to even remotely explain the experience, but Rachel and I both have it. We both are like, we have this strong urge, like, are we doing what we're supposed to be doing? It is this like constant like question, like, are we doing enough? Maybe is it. So, how much of this is like we trust and we let go and we just take the next step? Or is there like this really heavy personal responsibility in these individual lifetimes to make sure that we're doing it? Does that make sense? Am I
Yeah,
asking that
Mhm.
it makes
right?
total sense to me, and it's, a little bit on a case by case basis, but, uh, generally, well, I mean, I know having read you both that, I mean, especially with that, desire for immortality, that you're here to make a difference. Um Also, because you've chosen, both of you are trying to become empowered or learning to be empowered in this life. But you can always tell if you choose that leader or hunter influence. That's about empowerment. It also helps to get things done. That's why I joke about it being Viagra for the soul. When I see that, because it helps you to get like, well, I
Serious.
mentioned old soul fatigue. You've been around the block so
Yeah.
many times, so sometimes you can get to a point where you go, God, it just seems so much effort. But but that each of you has that motivation. You're impelled from within to make a difference, and therefore
Yes.
you have to be a little bit more proactive. There's so many other features, so many other factors that play into it. You can have like what's called a mission of control, which is not about being controlling. It's not a fear, but it's about making sure that you are being a little bit more proactive, maybe, not just waiting for things to happen. Like somebody with a mission of flow would just kind of like doors are presented, they will walk through them. Sometimes, you just have to really feel your way through it,
Yeah.
because it's very much an emotional thing. Opportunities come your way, but you're the one that has to take
Act.
them.
Yeah. Yeah.
The spirit guides will say that they can present you with opportunities, but they can't actually pick up a phone or you know mail in an application or something. We have
Yeah.
to contribute. We have to do your part as well. Um, you will absolutely feel your way, and of course, one of the things that you get, like, let's take this conversation we've had. Um, at the end of this, do you feel energized and like a good fuzzy feeling,
Oh,
or do
I've
you
had
feel
Absolutely.
like,
goosebumps
or do you
the
feel
whole
like,
time.
oh God, I wish I'd spent this time doing something
Hell
something else?
no.
No.
When you're doing what you're meant to be doing, there's usually a feeling of like time goes like that.
Yes.
So I mean, I
Mhm.
I paint, for example, and I'll say to my wife, I'm just going to paint for 10 minutes. 2 hours later, she's going, "It's been a very long 10 minutes." I go, "Really? I didn't know." You get lost, you get absorbed in what you do, and that's very often a sign that you're doing what you are meant to do. You're not kind of looking at your watch and thinking, "Oh, when can I get
Totally.
out of this?"
Yeah.
So it's more an emotional thing. Um, just pay attention. Yeah.
I love that.
Rachel, I had no idea that the fire under our asses was from being burned at the stake a few hundred years ago.
We've
Because
joked about it so
we're
many
like-
times.
Cool.
I know. But
sometimes it's like we are living. We I don't know. Sometimes we're like, how are we getting this done, and how are we doing that? And neither of us can really explain the drive.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I think that is what's so cool about really diving into your past lives, because it's all there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's how you got to be where you are. It explains your fears, your phobias, your limiting beliefs, your talents. All talents are past life related.
Yeah.
People who write now have written before. Um, Also, yeah, all sorts of talents. So, yeah, and they can all be quantified.
How does that work with young souls when they come in as far as talents? Do they have to discover them or
Yes, they have to work through them. That's an
Okay.
interesting thing about all talents.
Okay.
Intuition is an interesting one because people, for some reason, and I don't know why. I think it's probably to do with TV psychics or something. They they think it's just something you're born with and you just have, and you shoot from the hip, and somehow you're right. Well, I spent 3 years solidly developing my ability because it's a talent like any other. And
Mhm.
you you have a talent for music. You don't just get presented with a violin and suddenly play like Paganini
Yeah.
overnight. you know,
Yeah.
Gotta put some effort into it. Um,
Yes.
Yeah.
and if you have a talent for something, you are meant to use it. If you've chosen it for this life, and but they can all be developed. And as people are always saying, "Oh, isn't everybody intuitive?" Well, yeah, anyone can play violin, but they're not going to play like Paganini. And you
Yeah.
you got to you got to have the talent, meaning you've got the past lives that you can bring in, the past life experience, plus the dedication. And
Mhm.
that's actually a problem for a lot of old souls because the hard work part of it doesn't always, old soul fatigue again. It can be hard.
I think I popped a Viagra though. I don't know. Like I really do. I'm like this. I got a lot of energy this life, but on a soul level, I do kind of feel what you said. Like
Mhm.
I've done a
Mhm.
few rotations, and I'm
Mhm.
maybe soon will go out to pasture.
It's so funny. I was thinking about this even as a kid, there'd be drama on the playground and I always was just kind of like, I don't got time for this. You know what
Oh,
I you know what I mean? Like it's always been in there. Like
oh
I'm
my God! You
tired.
you can see it in little kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just look at you.
100%.
they look at the others and go, "Oh my god, I'm surrounded by children." That's actually really interestingly, it's a problem often for leaders or hunters, that they come those soul types particularly come into this world and I always get a picture of the baby guy kind of sort of getting some awareness and it looks around and it goes, "Oh Christ, what was I thinking? I'm here again." It's like, "Oh God, I've got to go through this
You
baby thing
again.
and then the
Yeah, you
bloody
again.
child thing. I
Oh
got to be
yeah.
told what to do all the time." It's like that's hard. You really do see it with kids who've got the leader in them. The psychologists call it oppositional defiance disorder, but it's actually is very often a leader or a hunter child who's got an issue with powerlessness from usually being imprisoned or incarcerated or institutionalized or enslaved in a past life, and so they do not want to be told what to do. And then you get that
Mhm.
sort of, butting of the heads. Like I put in my first book in the instruction, I put a story about my client was asking me about her teenage daughter, and I'm going, I'm sort of checking her out, and I'm going, "Oh, geez, you brought a leader into this world, and she's also got this powerlessness, and she doesn't want to be told what to do." And I said, did you butt heads very early on?" And she said, she was having an argument with her 5-year-old, and this 5-year-old is just standing her ground and just the mum's trying to tell her something. The 5-year-old is a leader, doesn't want to be told what to do or treated like a child, who finally goes, "You can't tell me what to do. I used to be your mother."
No.
End of conversation.
I believe it though.
Yes. Yes.
100%.
That's awesome.
Because like if you have intuition, you get a sense of your children, right? Like
Mhm.
the biggest
Oh, yeah.
lie we've ever told ourselves is that, our kids are just from 3D printers. We just, print, repeat, and that's it. It's like, hell no. Like anybody who's
No.
slightly intuitive is like, oh, I can feel your soul
Oh,
and your energy and
absolutely.
no
Yes.
Well,
way.
I said in my first book, I said that those people who think that babies are born as blank slates have obviously never met one.
Oh,
Especially if
yeah.
you've got 2 and you can compare, I mean, how
Oh
different
yeah. I
Mine
got
were
3.
different in utero. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
they
Mhm.
were totally different energies
Yeah.
when I was pregnant with them,
Yeah.
and they're very similar still,
Yeah. Ab
It's fascinating. Yeah.
absolutely. It's one of the things I love about my work is being able to look at people's families and their children and be able to sort of so easily read them, at that age,
Absolutely.
this is the one who's the show off, or this is the one who, is really athletic, or this is the sensitive, creative one, or whatever. It's
Mhm.
all chosen before coming here. So it's all in this soul age and soul types.
It's so beautiful. And like what a gift you have and what a gift I mean, I'm assuming you're
Mhm.
what, like 99.9% of your lives. Is that
So
is that
I'm
true?
done.
Yeah, you gotta be
I
about
am
ready to bounce out of
oh
here.
god, I'm not coming back, like
But it's like you're waking everybody up and you're
I
you're you're teaching and empowering this whole generation of people to then do this. And
yeah.
I just think it's so cool. I mean, like your energy, you feel the love and the genuine authenticity to just share and to teach and to give this gift to other people. And that is just like that's the thing is like once you start paying attention to soul ages and even understanding the concept, I know our listeners are going to be like, oh, I hadn't even thought about that.
Right.
And
Yeah.
now it's just because just listening to you, you're like, oh my gosh, the wisdom could not have been gained just from this life, is the
No,
Yes.
no,
point.
I mean, that's
You
the
Yes.
know?
thing. I
Yeah.
mean, I and that's what, I talk about all the time, where people think if you're just in here one time, there's so much evidence out there. I mean, maybe it's proof, but it's certainly evidence. And with the access we have to information these days, going to YouTube and finding those virtuoso piano players that are 3 years old and so on, they didn't learn to do that in 3
Yeah.
years. They
No
learned to
way.
do that
Yeah.
in the previous 300 or more.
Mhm.
They're bringing these talents in, and there's just sort of these extraordinary uh, young, gifted musicians, well, and talented children of all kinds. We're just being more, I think, exposed to it. But yeah, they're they didn't do it in their couple of short years that they've been on the
Yeah.
planet. There's just it's the sum of all the lives, and then of course coming into a family where you're going to get encouraged, maybe where the talent is noticed and supported. I mean, that's a wonderful
Yeah.
thing. It's when that does happen.
Oh my gosh. It is.
Yeah.
You are such a gift. I'm like,
I know. This has been amazing.
I'm so glad you told Rachael she's intuitive because she doesn't think she is. And I'm
Yeah.
like, you are.
I know. I'm getting
Well,
there.
you're
Yeah, I
intuitive,
need
but
to-
it's
I need-
it's that thinker educator combination. It second
it
guesses
gets in the way.
does get in the way, and it's a
I know.
very hard one because people say to me, "Well, how do I get that out of the way?" Well, it's there. It's with you from cradle to grave. So you need to find. Actually, the key really is to, well, because you're going to be a note taker, as I said. So you note down the gut feelings that you get. When you meet somebody, what's your gut feeling about them? Just note it down, write it down, and then you can refer back to these things. Maybe you get to know that person better, and you realize, oh yeah, my initial gut feeling served me well.
Mhm.
You get the validation from just experience after experiencing times that you paid attention to your intuition, you're glad you did, or it could be times you didn't and wish you had. But
Yeah.
if you note it down, you've got something to go back and refer to, and you can have those moments where you go, yeah, I was right.
Yeah.
Helps to validate.
I wonder if this
confidence.
is why I get so much in dreams and when I do
Oh,
a
yeah.
really deep meditation, because I'm turning my brain off a little.
Mhm. Yep.
I'm not in my own way as much.
Intellectualizing.
Yeah, if you're not
Yeah.
doing it during the day, you'll do it tonight.
Yeah. I get dreams a lot.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
so cool. It's
Mhm.
just been so helpful. It really is. It's helpful to gain clarity and insight and see yourself in ways that maybe you don't see yourself. Like the
Yeah.
leader thing to me is, I don't think of myself that way.
Yeah.
at all.
But I see it so hardcore. I mean,
And
it's so funny.
I see it too, but it doesn't mean. I mean, you're a spiritualist first, so
Yeah.
your leadership style is going to be more inspirational, or encouraging, or
Yes.
supportive. I
Maybe
mean,
that's why I think of
grounded.
like old school,
yeah,
like boss.
it's not about barking orders at people and
Yeah,
no way.
expecting them to jump to attention.
Yeah.
It's like grounded
Yeah, but it is
Like-
about as well learning to really
shepherding.
stand up for yourself and be a strong woman in this life. And
Yeah.
but you don't come into this world fully formed. It's something you're learning, and it gets better with time. But
Yeah.
But you don't want to be. A particular thing is you don't want to become a victim of anyone or anything. It's about you being strong and standing up for your right to be treated well, and so on.
It's interesting. I was just doing like a workshop and the word I chose for the year was power, but not in like a
Mhm.
not in a like
Egotistical
controlling,
way. Yeah.
egotistical way, but
Yeah.
more like comfortable in my own voice and what I'm saying. And Jaisa's so good. I always say Jaisa pushes me off the diving board. Like I'm on the end and then she's just like,
That makes total sense.
we're a good team. We're a good team.
I could literally listen to you
Yeah.
all day.
Oh, thank you. We really.
All day. Oh my
God,
gosh, you're such
Ainsley,
a blessing.
This was amazing.
Holy cow.
Well, you guys are absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I really appreciate this.
Thanks for joining us for today's episode. If you're ready to take your spirituality to the next level, be sure to check out our website, spiritoutspoken.com. There you can download free educational resources, read our latest blog posts, and join the Spirit Outspoken community.
And don't forget to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Spirit Outspoken to stay up to date on news, happenings, shenanigans, and all things Spirit Outspoken.